he asks Harry, "Do you actually think she's in love with Johnny?" Dude, your whole thought process is funny, but it's also a little concerning.
It is comforting. He's not there to work. Hi, welcome to Above Deck, a below deck breakdown podcast. I'm Sarah Goldman, a photographer living in Charleston, South Carolina. Joining me is my college roommate and co-host, Kelly.
I'm Kelly Busby, an executive assistant and former radio host, coming to you from my home studio in Columbus, Ohio. Together, we hosted the Socks with Sandals radio show on WFAL in Bowling Green, Ohio, and we are back again this week to discuss Below Deck and our love of all things Bravo. Today, we'll be discussing Below Deck Down Under Season 3, Episode 8, Rumble in the Jungle.
Kind of sounds like something you don't want to get, a rumble in the jungle. Here's your recap. Laura and Serena are annoyed at Vian's lack of planning at the beach picnic. The guests enjoy their afternoon at the beach, followed by a jungle-themed dinner and Fear Factor challenge. Captain Jason has a chat with Vian about his lack of organization with the deck team. Kelly, how many shackles?
I gave it 7.
Hmm.
It was a lot more build up, which what we thought last episode was going to be a build up for this one, but it seems it's more build up for the next one. But
Hmm.
I think we're at a point in the show or in the season where Katina is going to erupt
Yeah,
in many, many ways. So,
I think you're right. This episode annoyed me, but in a good way, because I was just
yeah.
annoyed with some of the people, like some deck team people. Um, Yeah, so I can't wait to see what happens. Okay, the guests are enjoying the tortoises, and the flies are enjoying their lunch since they aren't at the food yet.
The opening music, it was like that early spring orchestral sound. Yeah, yeah. So everything sounds beautiful. They're petting the tortoises, everything's happy.
Hmm.
And then the music starts to bend a little bit, and then it cuts to the table and the flies. I
Well,
felt really bad for Zarina because those plates looked amazing. I just
yeah,
hope that, I'm saying, like, God, I hope there's nothing like perishable on there besides like the cream or whatever.
yeah, that was bad. And they have no idea what time they're coming, so that's annoying. So back on the boat, there's the big swell that's making things tricky in the galley, and Jason hops in a tender, very like James Bond, and he's going to look for another anchorage where they can move the boat.
We don't really see the motor yachts list like that. We'll see the sailing yacht do that all the time, but we it's
Hmm.
rare that we see the motor ones do that.
Yeah, there was just like a big swell. I also heard Serena say on another podcast that the stabilizers didn't work on this boat.
Oh
So
no,
there was
not
that.
the stabilizers.
Not them again. The ladies finally make it to lunch. Serena and
Woo.
Laura are annoyed that Vian isn't there to help, and the timing is just not good.
No,
And after that, Johnny becomes the Instagram boyfriend that he is, and he takes awesome pics of the guests on the beach.
very good at his craft. I hope he puts that on his application for future yachts and that
Yeah,
he has like a portfolio of the ladies he's taken photos of.
that's a great idea. Alicia is feeling bad about what she said to Vian about going through half the boat, and she sends him an apology text that he perceives as her trying to make him jealous. And Harry says, "Do you reckon?" He thinks Vian is completely delusional, and he says in his green screen, "This isn't the Bachelor, it's a super yacht."
Yeah. Okay. One, Alicia should not have apologized to him. She
Yeah.
should have let Zarina know what she said and have taken it from there. That's
Hmm.
just, but Vian is 100% Delulu.
Hmm.
And seriously, like just because she said something nice to you does not mean she's into you. And then he asked Harry, "Do you actually think she's in love with Johnny?" Dude, your whole thought process is funny, but it's also a little concerning.
It is comforting. He's not there to work. I
No,
don't know what's
no.
going on. So, Kelly, you told people on the last episode about how people eat bats in the Seychelles, and
Yes.
now Zarina is preparing a bat curry.
Yeah.
So, along with sharks, I don't think people should be eating bats. They're too ecologically important. They're pollinators, they're eating insects that bite us. We need bats. Bats are friends, not food.
Oh, you bolded that in your notes. Like that, you meant to drive that home.
I did.
So seeing this, like thinking about this, it takes me back to the movie City Slickers. Do
Hmm.
you remember that with Billy
Of
Crystal?
course.
And I
Norman.
think it was this movie, but they're out camping under the stars while they're doing the whole like drive over the cattle and everything, and they're
Hmm.
eating something for dinner, and it seems like everybody has like overcooked. No, I know what movie it is. It just hit me.
What?
Three Amigos, where
Yes.
they're eating
Yeah.
the bats,
Yeah. Exactly.
which
It was
had
the Three
Chevy Chase in
Amigos.
it. And then it's like when Chevy Chase is eating the turkey on Christmas Vacation.
Yes.
Wow, two 80s movie references in one, well, three really.
Yeah. Oh, I
That's
love that. I
I could
love the Three
see.
Amigos. I remember seeing it in the theater. So good. Ah, that's a good one.
Love
So
it.
Johnny is picking up the anchor, and Harry, Adair, and Vion are looking at photos on Adair's phone of the tortoise park. And Jason can watch all of this, like on a
Yeah.
monitor. And
Yeah.
there's a bad swell. They're at a crowded anchorage. And it's a big to do when they either lower the anchor or pick it up. Like you need more than one person doing that. So, and these
Yeah.
deckhands, they're just like out to lunch. And now there's a problem with the anchor chain. I've had it with this bosun at this point.
First of all, the title Bosun, let's
Hmm.
just loosely add that next to his name. So
Hmm.
Johnny's trying to fix the chain with his hand
Oh gosh.
while the anchor is unsecure. Like
Hmm.
it's like it could easily just go at any time. So I was just scared we were going to have to see this Seychelles hospital again with
Hmm.
another hand injury. And then Vian, he even mentions, I wonder what's taking so long, and shrugs his shoulders and go back to looking at the photos. Sarah, I totally agree with you. I am donezo with this guy.
Yep. Over it. Adair
Horrible.
says Vion is growing on her, and she told him that she might like write him a letter back. These two.
He said he's growing on me, I guess. Girl, do not settle. This is not, she keeps saying, I guess. I think so. I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
red
let's
flag.
form a strong opinion here.
Yes, thank you.
Jason asks Serena about the beach picnic, and she, kind of lets him know what the issues were. And Jason said Vion was supposed to lead this whole excursion and be there, FYI.
Yeah. He was very shocked to hear when Vian didn't go. And I
Hmm.
think it was a good call for Zarina to let Captain Dreamboat know what was going on. But what do you
Hmm.
think? You think it was time?
Yeah, I think it was time that he's like clued in. I think he did know a little bit, but I think it's super important that he kind of
Yeah.
finds out what's going on with him. And, maybe we're gonna give him one more chance and then see ya.
Hmm.
Tonight is
Yep.
the jungle safari dinner and the Fear Factor challenge, and Vion is really no help. Harry kind of takes over the whole Fear Factor part, and he told Adair and Vion he's feeling like a one-man show at the moment.
And they don't care.
No.
Like that's the horrible part. And I'm pissed off myself. And it's not even like effect like this was taped what, over a year ago? But
We weren't
Laura
there.
wanted Vian to take the lead on this, and he shrugged it off. Now, look, I know not everybody is comfortable doing creative activities. Maybe that's just not your strong point. Say something, let them know. I'm sure
Yeah,
there's something else that you can do, but just flat out disappearing, that's not right. You don't do that.
exactly. How cute was that moment in the galley between Johnny and Alicia? And he
It's so
says, I'm
cute.
gonna take care of you. That was hot.
I mean, she just like laid her head on his chest. I was like, yeah, girl. Yeah, that's appropriate. Alicia talking about getting fuzzies and butterflies when he talks to her. Girl, I had them too. Like, so fun. Love it.
Yeah, I had butterflies as well. Now, didn't we see in the like previews for this season that Johnny's maybe gonna have like a blow up or something? So he
Yes.
obviously there are some things wrong with this dude. We, but the last few episodes were very much in like a Johnny love bubble. So
Yes.
I'm happy to live there for now, and we'll see what happens.
Absolutely.
The deck team is helping with turn downs. This was kind of weird. I mean, we've seen Harry like help in cabins, but we haven't seen like all of them go down there, which was bizarre. And now their attention moves on to turtles dropping anchor, and Marina is annoyed. I'm annoyed. Harry's annoyed. Everybody's annoyed.
I would be so upset. Everybody's joking around and they're in a guest's bathroom.
Hmm.
Like they can't be that big, first of all. But second, you're all just hanging out in there. You don't know if the guest is going to come in.
Yeah.
Like, and then Marina, she's trying to get her stuff done because she has this to do, and then she still has to do food
She's on
service. And
service. Yeah.
yeah, so they're just messing around. It's just, look, if you're going to try and be helpful or go.
Yeah. And I get, we only saw a little moment in time, and I'm sure it was edited in
But
such a way that it seemed
still,
like all they were doing was goofing off. But yeah, this was so irritating. However, it reminds me of a
uh-oh.
situation that I was in, um, where it was just like, or I was just like the deck team in this moment.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Picture it. Grader's
Okay.
Ice Cream,
Yes.
Pickerington, Ohio, circa 1997.
Okay.
Um, I was in the back with my friend Corey, who worked there, girl Corey, and we were washing out the like big tubs, like buckets of ice cream, because
Yeah,
they reuse those.
sure.
And we're just washing side by side. Other people are out like serving ice cream and like doing
Right.
stuff, but we were back there giggling and laughing, like and washing. I mean, we
Yeah.
were working, but
Right.
the manager overheard and he was like, knock it off, get to work, and like shut it down real fast. So I kind of felt like the deck team in that moment. Like we were working, I swear. The other interesting thing about graders, I don't know if I ever told you this, but there were only like 15 people that worked there. And so I was the very first employee at that graders. I
Were
trained at the
you?
graders on Lane Avenue before the one in Pickerington opened. And
Wow.
every month, somebody was made employee of the month. Well, they got through like everybody except for me. And then they just like started over again. And
Did they forget
I was
you?
never employee of the month. I think that manager just,
Sarah,
he hated me.
why?
I don't know.
Is it because you had people come in and actually like, that knew you and
Maybe. I
you
think
had a
it was
life?
that day I was giggling, cleaning out the ice cream buckets. Just a thought. Troy, what a
Yeah, now
dick.
I look at graders differently now.
Yeah. They do have that really good black raspberry chocolate
Black
chip though.
raspberry chip ice cream.
So good. Oh, did I tell
And
you
salted caramel.
I went into Graders like a couple years ago, the one in Pickerington, and every time
Yeah.
I go back there, I feel like a sense of pride. Like I was the very first employee at this
Yeah.
Graders. And
Yeah.
I like made an announcement. I was like, by the way, I was the first employee. And like these teenagers are like, okay, well, what kind of ice cream do you want? Like nobody
Okay,
cared.
boomer.
It's
Thanks.
me, I'm back, guys. Anyway, okay. That was a long Grader story.
Feels good.
The guest said, wink if you can't clink. I like that. I thought that was cute. I want to use it. Harry expresses his annoyance with Vion's lack of planning and leading, and
Yeah.
they're on the dessert course. More hands are needed to carry plates. People keep calling Adair and Vion on the radio. They're not responding. I don't know if their radios aren't on them, they're turned down. They're just like still goofing off in the cabins.
Feel like everyone is just over this act he's
Hmm.
playing. Vienna is following Adair around like a puppy dog. It's kind of sad. And he's like, I need a manicure. I mean, I have nothing against people getting manicures. It's just why are we bringing this up right now? And
Hmm.
then it seemed like they were kind of hanging out at the top of the stairs, like
Yeah, they were
listening.
like listening. It's
I
weird.
don't know. It's
Yeah.
very
Serena tries to clue Vion into his screw ups he had today, and she tells him he's putting pressure on the interior with like his behavior. And Harry says, Yeah, like, didn't you hear those calls on the radio? So now the whole deck team is sitting down in the crew mess, and Harry says he doesn't know what the schedule, like what his schedule is supposed to be. What time should he go to
right.
bed? What time is he getting up in the morning? And Vion seems to think that's a Harry problem. Like that's not his problem.
This
And
isn't rocket science.
yeah, I'm glad that Harry pushed back on
Yeah.
wanting a schedule
Yeah.
and getting a list of tasks from Vion. I mean, Vion says he loves writing, so just saying.
Just write it down. But here's the thing, like, isn't it supposed to be written down? Because isn't it like a law or a rule or something about that for safety purposes?
Maybe. I mean, usually the captains, they want to know, like, show me your schedule of who's on when?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Jason talks to Harry and he overhears him say, "For F's sake," to himself.
Right.
And I was thinking, tell him, Harry, just tell him everything.
Well, it all.
So he pulls Harry, into the wheelhouse, and Harry, explains what's been going on. And now Vion, who earlier was nowhere, now seems to be everywhere, and he is eavesdropping on the conversation, like right around the corner.
I kind of want to do well, isn't that spatial? Like, how convenient. Like you just show up right outside the door. Um,
Yeah,
and Adair was like, "Well, are you listening?" And he was like, "No, BS." Yeah,
totally.
he's like straining to get his head in there.
hmm He was able to
Uh,
climb those stairs right up there for that moment.
right.
Okay, fear factor time. The guests eat everything, including the bat curry. I think they liked it. And now they're reaching into buckets blindfolded.
Oh,
And this is child's play compared to the box challenge we saw on the Traders, though.
oh, for sure. Like I would do the below deck down under box thing before I would do the
Yeah. I
no.
mean,
Yeah.
touch some spaghetti, sure.
Yeah, that's okay. Did you catch that they didn't tell them it was real bat in the curry until after they ate it? But
That
but
was pretty funny because they're like, oh, yes, these are fingers, these are
yeah,
this,
yeah,
but they know what they are. That was pretty funny.
yeah.
So. Okay, Kelly, I think you should marry Johnny. He's hot, he's strong, and he vacuums.
He has dark hair, he has an accent, he's tall. Yes, please.
I mean, maybe we won't say marry, but let's say shag. I don't know what the age difference is, but we're just gonna go with that.
Doesn't matter.
Who cares? Age is just a
I
number.
know, whatever. It's a number.
The next day, it's Marina's birthday, and Laura, so sweet, has decorated the crew mess for her.
What a lovely surprise. I mean, she was really, that was a genuine shock, I think. That was really sweet.
Yeah, especially because she is already feeling like Bree is the favorite.
Yeah.
So I think this will probably go a long way. Adair gets herself and Vion a coffee, and Jason's down in the crew mess, and he asks, like, are you on a break? And she says, no, she's not. And he has to explain work hours to her, basically.
And the way she's explaining what she's doing to Jason is just so annoying. She's being very combative. I mean, he's the big boss. Like you don't talk to any boss like that, but he's the big boss.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
He could
crazy.
have plane tickets for you and not in a good way.
Yeah, I was trying to think what the equivalent would have been for me when I worked on boats. It'd be like I'm in charge out on, or not, maybe she's not in charge, but like I'm out on deck, we're pulling up traps, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go get a snack. Like,
Yeah. Right.
just no.
No.
So Vion asks Laura about what Zarina said yesterday, and she said the same thing that Harry said, that there's no structure for the deck team. And Vion said, well, someone needs to take control. Someone. Laura says, yeah, you. That's your job.
Oh, for F's sake. Does he remember why he's on the boat in the first place?
I
Has
don't
he
think
ever
so.
been a bosun before? Because it makes me think he forgets that he's the boss.
Do you think he might have lied on his resume, perhaps? He just doesn't seem to know what he's supposed to do, or at least not on a boat this size. I don't know.
I don't know.
Needless to say, her advice is not well received, and I cannot wait for Captain Jason to make this whole situation right.
Let's go, Jason. Let's go.
Johnny gets permission to take Alicia for a drink off the boat tonight. Date night.
Seriously, ask Johnny asking for permission was my absolute favorite. And Captain Jason said, well, of course, you've got a great smile. Like you sound really excited about this. It was sweet all around.
Yeah, that was really cute. I'm gonna say I'm really gonna miss these guests. They were fun, they were lighthearted, they loved all the food. A lot of
Yeah.
just real silly.
I'm glad we got a group like them because they were
hmm
really great. They had fun. They were, they got into the fear factor thing as cheesy as it could be. Like it was nice.
Yeah, they were all in. All right, V on to the bridge, please. Um,
Yes.
Captain Dreamboat tells him, you need to lead your department. And this negativity that's coming from you, it needs to stop, or I'm gonna make some changes.
He argues with him. He like back talks to him. I don't think he realizes he's not the one on holiday. It's the guests. He is here to work. And Jason
Yes.
said, "You don't want me talking like you're part of the crew."
Yeah,
And I'm like, "Yes, we do. Yes, for many reasons. Yes, we do."
exactly. You said, what did you tell me earlier before you started recording? That everybody comments on how much their feet hurt in this episode?
Yes. I mean, Marina, yes, because she's up and down and all
Yeah,
over the place. And then Vian starts complaining about his feet. I'm like, you're not doing anything. And then the
he's
guests
mostly
started to
standing
say
around.
that their feet hurt. And I'm like, my goodness, everybody's tootsies hurt.
I know. Well, you have to be barefoot most of the time too, so that just kind
Yeah.
of takes a toll on your feet too.
Yeah. I'm
Okay,
not a
the
big
tip
fan of that
meeting.
part.
24K, great tip. So they said the service and food were great, or
Yeah.
Jason said the service and food great, but the communication, between departments, not so great. And
Right.
so he wants to have the heads of department stay back and just talk to them. And he basically says, you know what, you three are going to sit here and you're going to figure this out. And then he
Yeah.
leaves. And Laura and Zarina explain the issues from the last charter to Vian.
Yeah.
And Laura said his deck team just doesn't respect him and they don't do what he says.
Yeah.
And he has an excuse for everything.
And Zarina calls him out on that. She's like, you
Hmm.
have an excuse for everything. You are not owning up to any of the mistakes that you had. And what Laura's telling him, it's fact. I mean, both of them are sharing
Hmm.
with him facts and instances of when things are happening, and it's
Hmm.
going straight over him. And he's looking at them like, how dare you talk to me? Like how am I supposed to split up their time?
Yeah.
It's just not good.
Yeah. Do you think he's going to make it through the season or you think he's going to be gone soon?
I think he'll be gone soon. I give him 2 more episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good guess. So,
Yeah.
the preview for next week, the next set of
It's
guests look wild. Like they're going to
Yes.
arrive on jet skis. There's puking. There's a crazy foam party, foam everywhere. That's going to be
Yes.
great. And then Marina's going to say something disrespectful to Captain Dreamboat. Like that, that was a shock.
I've been thinking this for a while, but the heat is starting to get to them all. Like they're tired. They
Yeah.
they need a day of just like laying straight out, arms out and everything and just cooling off.
Yeah. Agreed.
So, it should be a good one and I'm looking forward to it.
Me
Well,
too.
let's take a break and we'll come back with hot tub combo.
We are supported by BetterHelp. Support systems are so important. I know I have a group of people that I regularly rely on. Kelly, you're one of those people for me. In a
Mhm.
society where we are expected to be really independent, it's easy to forget that we are all better when we have a support system. Therapy can be a support for many areas in your life.
The best part of BetterHelp is it's fully online, which helps make therapy affordable and convenient, serving over 5 million people worldwide. Access a diverse network of over 30,000 therapists in a range of specialties, and you can easily switch therapists at any time for no additional cost.
Build your support system with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/abovedeck today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/abovedeck. We're back. It's time for Hot Tub Convo, where we discuss what's happening with our favorite Below Deck cast members.
Sarah, Harry was on Watch What Happens Live last week with Chrissy Teigen. Chrissy, I just called her Christy. She's like a neighbor here. So Chrissy Teigen. This was Harry's first time in the clubhouse, which is I thought he was on last year, but that's pretty fun. Good
Yeah, I
for
guess
him.
not. Or maybe he
Chrissy,
was on virtually.
oh, that could have been. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't
Chrissy told him he's marriage material. I agree.
know.
But then she also called him a lanky dinosaur, which I don't agree with. Harry gave Andy some budgie smugglers. And on the March 11th episode of Watch What Happens Live, Dorit was on with Gabby and Dylan from The Traders. I watched part of this. Is so good. And it's
Mhm.
definitely worth the watch for Gabby's comments. And turns out Dylan is up on Southern Charm, Summer House, and Beverly Hills. It was a really good episode.
It was a good episode. I watch anything with Dylan on it and Gabby. Like,
God,
just so
how many
good.
how many videos or like posts do I send to you with just like random, like, good God, like nothing
Just with
really.
like Dylan's abs.
Yes. like every all of it. He's
Yeah,
dressed like a guy from the 40s, and I'm like, yes.
I love it. Okay, Kelly, I have been meaning to talk to you about something. I
Okay.
hinted at it during our compliments to the chef podcast
Yeah.
that we had a couple weeks ago. I don't think I have told you how deeply I am into Grey Gardens right now.
Sarah, I'm concerned.
Okay, so I'm gonna just explain because I have an
Okay.
idea. Okay,
Okay.
so I make those lists every year, like my 24 for 24, 25 for
Yeah.
25. So on my
Yeah.
24 for 2024 list was Watch Grey Gardens because I always heard it referenced, but I
Yeah.
didn't know what it was. I knew it was a movie or a TV show or something.
Yeah.
And especially with like Sonia Morgan, people would reference Grey Gardens. So I watched it and I was like, well, that was strange. But then I kept thinking about it and then I like
Yeah.
watched it again. And then I watched the, I think it's 2009 or 2013 movie with Drew Barrymore and Jessica
Yes.
Lange, also
Yes.
called Grey Gardens. Now I just finished two books, one called The Marble Fawn of Grey Gardens, and then I'm also finishing another one about like my life at Grey Gardens, which is Lois, who used to live with the Beals. Okay, so I am just really into Grey Gardens. I'm
Okay.
obsessed. So I need to know what your background is with Grey Gardens. You obviously know what it is.
So I've seen the movie with Jessica Lange and Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
So, and I know that they're relatives of
Jackie
Jacqueline. Oh,
Jackie
yeah.
Kennedy Onassis, yeah.
Yeah.
The
But that's, I
Bouviers.
mean, and I feel bad because I feel like they just kind of became recluse and just
Yeah.
like did not leave.
Yeah. But you haven't seen the original documentary from the
I
70s.
haven't, but now I want to. Where'd you see it? Where was it?
They're on both of those things are on HBO Max. Max.
Excellent. Okay.
But since it's such a big part of my life, I would love
Oh,
to do a bonus episode on Grey Gardens. And I was gonna say, if you have no interest, I will find somebody to do it with. But I
no, I'll
love
do it
it.
with you for sure. Is it a series? Is it a
No, it's just a
just a
documentary,
movie?
just a
Okay.
movie. Yeah.
Okay.
If you
Grey
haven't
Gardens.
seen, and if you guys, if you, listeners, if you would like to know what the heck we're talking about and you're not familiar with Grey Gardens, I would recommend watching the Drew Barrymore, Jessica Lange movie first because it kind
Yes.
of is, I think if you watch the documentary first, you might be a little confused about what is going on.
Yeah,
And that
the
one kind of tells
documentary
you
does, yeah.
like how they got in that situation. And then I would go back and watch the documentary with subtitles. Very important. There's like so much you will miss if you don't have subtitles on.
Well, and they're very transatlantic in their accent and like
Yes, they have
in
that
New
like
England
Kennedy
and
accent
yes.
that
The,
which must be a Hamptons accent, I guess. I never really thought about where that accent was from, but
yeah, it's they like a Catherine Hepburn meh, kind
hmm
of. I don't know. We
yeah,
should put the preview or the trailer for Grey Gardens, the movie, in
in
the
the show
notes.
notes. Okay, that's a good
I'll put
idea.
it on here
Anyway,
for you.
so at some point, let's do that when it makes sense.
I love it. I'm gonna
Okay,
put it up at the top because I don't want to mess up your show notes.
thanks for humoring me.
I love it. I love it. Okay, Sarah, I sent you a text earlier this week and I'm like,
Hmm.
we got to watch that show now that Aisha's going to be on, and I cannot remember the name of it. And now seeing the notes here, I now remember it. So Aisha's going to be on season 9 of The Amazing Race Australia with her fiance, Scott. She said it's been a dream of hers since she was 13, and we will be keeping up with her on Instagram and share everything we know as it comes around.
Yeah, I hope we're able to watch it. I'm sure we'll be able to watch clips, but I hope we'll be able to
Yeah,
watch it because that's going to be great TV.
absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, this was a listener comment from a few weeks ago, and I'm sorry, I don't remember who mentioned it, but Colin McRae made a Below Deck inspired video on his YouTube channel featuring Chef Marcos and Chef Alicia from Sailing Yacht. And the listener wanted us to watch the video and then recap it on the podcast.
Okay.
It's short, it's like 20, 30 minutes.
Okay.
This sounds really fun. I will put a link to the video and the resources for this episode, and then we can discuss it next week in Hot Tub Convo. So
I love it.
I think
Let's
it'll be
do it.
hilarious.
That sounds fun. It's time for our segment, Join Me in the Wheelhouse, where we decide who needs to see Captain Jason for a stern talking to. All right, Sarah. I'm sorry. Things are moving on my computer screen. Squirrel. Sarah, who do you call to the wheelhouse and why?
Well, Vion's still up there from last week, so I'm going to keep him there. And then I'm going to add Adair. She was just annoying me this episode.
Right? She's
Just,
going along with it. Like she was so
mhm.
gung ho about working, and now this is
Now
ugh,
he has distracted her. Like and
I
she's
don't.
just clueless. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's it for this week's episode of Above Deck. Thank you to our team at Hurrdat Media, especially our producer, Joss. Thank you all for listening. Please subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to tell a friend, and please rate and review us 5 stars only.
Please follow us on Instagram at abovedeckpod, and you can email us at abovedeckpod@gmail.com. And you can watch our episodes on the Hurrdat Entertainment YouTube channel. Until next time, I'm Kelli Busby.
And I'm Sarah Goldman. We'll see you next week.